it got to a point when I started using warm water. Like the places you could go, like the measures you take when you're desperate to feel better are crazy. So the reason I was using the reason I just decided to use disinfectant was because I felt, okay, how would this feel when it's there? And I was just running out of ideas. At one point, I decided to take warm water and have salt inside. You know, like how you have a wound and then you use um, water with salt to sort of help in the process of, what is it called? Like the process where the platelets are coming together to like heal the place. Yeah, that one. Like with to help with the clotting, yes. So I was trying to use that, and when you use salt on a wound, sometimes it helps to make it sort of dry up a little. And so I was trying the same with my ear, and let me tell you, it did not even help. If anything, I kept feeling worse. And so what you want, like when it, especially when it comes to warm water, I used to warm water and then I test it with my skin, like how you do like a baby's bathing water. And you cannot use that on your ear because your ear is very sensitive. It's like the same skin here is not the one in your ear. Like the ear is very extremely sensitive. And so I was very, very desperate. And so when I came across the exercise of, I wish I could remember the name of the exercise, but I'm pretty sure I will. And when I do, I'm going to have it on the description. And let me tell you, that was the most life changing situation in my life. So I just kept breathing in, hold my breath, and then block my nose and just have that air go to my ear. And then like the unfortunate bit is I could only hear a popping on the right ear. There was nothing as popping on my left ear, and that got me so depressed. Now let me tell you, the tinnitus was so bad. It got to a point when I'm walking, I could literally feel the movement, or like I could feel the movement of my legs. Am I making sense? Okay. You see, like when you close your ears, or maybe like when you snap like this, you can feel your thumb and your middle finger touching each other, and then there's a sound that you can hear from that. So, which you cannot hear from your naked or well ears. Oh my god, I hope I'm making sense. So, when you're walking, you don't hear your leg or your thigh. You don't hear your thigh moving from your waist. I could hear that. It's crazy. It's so crazy. And I don't know. It's the worst experience ever. And then maybe when I'm chewing, I could hear the movement of my jaw, like here. Not imagine, here, like you're hearing your jaw moving. And so one of the things that made me realize that there could be something that is not okay with me, because if I go to the doctors, and I feel like sometime back I was about to say something, and then I said let me not say it, and then I said God forgive me, so let me just say it right now. I feel like the some of the practitioners in Kenya are very incompetent. I just have to say it. And I can bet I'm not the only person who, when they go to the hospital, whatever you're suffering from gets worse as compared to when you're just sticking to your normal day routine and probably seeking home remedies. here's where you most definitely will see the incompetence later, because all this entire time I went to an like an ENT, a specialist. I made an inquiry. I was even sent for imaging, and there was nothing in my ear. So from the little knowledge that I have about researching online, I used that, and the good news is I can tell you for a fact I got rid of the ringing in my ear. And that's the part that really hurts me, because I went to a specialist, and I just, I was naked truth. Like I spoke my naked truth about from the beginning of the throbbing in my ear to everything that I had done, and there was nothing they could do, which makes me question a lot of things. However, that's not the point. Let's just continue with the story. Oh, let me just readjust this. I had just paused the video because my phone went off, and so when I came back online, um, I had to like redo everything. And so how, like, from the moment I started like the breathing in and out exercise, I noticed there was a change in the pressure in my ear. And then sometimes I would hold my breath for so long so that I could feel as if maybe the pressure is going to my head. Because, oh my God. And I'm so sorry to anyone that is experiencing tinnitus in their life and they cannot seem to get rid of it. And especially that bit when it goes to your head. I'm very sorry. Now, I want you to know that in the month of is it October? We're in November, right? In October, I lost my hearing in one ear. I could not hear anything. Like there was nothing. Like it was I was deaf, like literally deaf in one ear. And from the moment I realized that I was deaf, I only wanted to speak to one person. You know, that person that comes to mind when you're going through something, or maybe like when you win an award, you call them, you know. I wanted to call someone. And so that was the worst moment. Let me not say the worst, but it wasn't a pleasant moment in my life. I believe I've been through worse stuff, but me saying that this was my worst moment, like that moment of going deaf, it wasn't. Why? Because the ringing going to my head beats that. That's worse. I can tell you for a fact it's worse. And so one day I just woke up and thought to myself, okay, let me also say something. This is something that I had not mentioned before. When I was chewing, or when I was just, and I had also seen somewhere that you're supposed to, like, if you're having like, if you're feeling a blockage in your ear. Yes, I was also feeling blockage in my ear, and also I was feeling as if the inner part of my ear is spongy. And then when like maybe let's say when I'm sneezing, I could not get that relief at all. And so I also noticed that, like, well, this was like some months back. I also noticed that my cheek was very sensitive, and also when I touched my ear from this end, it was very sensitive, and so I could not like move my finger to my ear like this. It was very, very sensitive. And that's when I just sat myself down and thought to myself, what if there could be a solution to this? What if maybe I'm not experiencing all these things I'm thinking I'm experiencing? And what if I went to the doctor and they did not see anything, and maybe there's something that's that I'm just not seeing? Like, what if there's just something that is there, placed there, and I can't see it? So I'm this kind of person who always tries to like look for solutions. And so in the process of using my rolled up tissue paper as Q-tip, because this was the only one that I could use, because every other thing that I could get in my ear, would just hurt me, and this felt a bit better. Now, it got to a point when I could not use this because it was hurting my ears. And so let me also mention that um, I also like refrained from washing this ear for like 2 days, just because I did not want water to get in there. And however, I kept using this to sort of clean it up. And every time I was trying to like clean with this rolled up tissue, um one time, like it was on a Sunday. Was it last Sunday? Yes, no, last Sunday but one. So yes, it was last Sunday but one. When I was just trying to clean my ear with the rolled up tissue, I noticed there was something dark on this end, and that was very concerning for me because oh, what ran in my ear at that moment was something like, oh my god. do you th- I was like, has the infection in my ear gotten this bad to an extent the discharge coming out of it is black? Or because like something I expect from an infection is like pus. However, I had not seen pus. Every time I was trying to get a Q-tip or the rolled up tissue paper in my ear, every time I inserted one in my ear, I had not seen anything yellow. So I thought like, oh my god, it's getting worse, and this is obviously the reason why I lost my hearing. And I was blaming myself. I was telling myself, oh my god, this is worse. This is the worst experience ever. And so when I started like seeing something black coming out of my ear, I was very scared. I was afraid, and it was on a Sunday. I had plans of going to the church. I had plans of going to church, but I did not go to church. Also, keep in mind that any loud noise was very irritating to me back then, and so going to church was just I was just going to church because I just lost hearing and in one ear, and so I was like, "Ugh, what's the worst that can happen? Let me just go to church. That's it." Because I started going to church for my own good. And so as this side of my ear is deaf, this other side of my right ear now is starting to feel as if the ringing has connected to this side. And I knew this is the end of me. This is it. Like the world has come to an end. Like I finally lost one of my senses. Yeah, that's it. I knew that was it. And so what I did was I did not go to church. Of course I didn't go to church. So what I did was I took I rolled up my tissue, my piece of tissue, and then I dipped it in some at that point I did not have any more baby oil. I didn't have any more baby oil. Yeah, and so I dipped it in the oil that I had. It was vegetable oil. I dipped it in vegetable oil, and then I got it to be very, very soft, and then I made sure that it was intact such that it would not break in my ear and leave anything. And then what I did was I did the breathing in and out exercise. Oh, how I wish I can remember the name. It starts with an S. If you know it, just write it on the comment section. I'll really appreciate it, and it's going to help like a lot of people. And so I took it in that state, and then I held my breath, and then exerted pressure on my ears. Of course, there's not much in this ear, and so when I held my nose, and then one thing I can say is it's always been painful having anything go in my ear, and so I just say, you know what comes after pain? more pain. So why don't I just feel this pain and see how it goes? And so I just took my rolled up tissue, I inserted it in my ear, and then I began rolling it like this, just making motions in the ear. And so I noticed that as I was doing that, there was so much pain. But what comes after pain? More pain. And so I was just in for it. I just went in like this, like this, like this. And then suddenly I realized the paper is not moving anymore. So it felt like a blockage. And so I pull out the paper, only for the tissue paper to come out with it's like syrup. It's like syrup, but very black. And let me tell you, I was just holding my breath, and then I released it. And when I released my breath, I could not believe that there was very little ringing in my ear. Like the ringing had lessened. And by the moment I'm removing it, like this syrup is coming out of my ear, it's not really, it has the texture of syrup, but it's not really syrup. However, because it was soaked on this uh, tip of the tissue, and so I could see it, like I could see what it was, and I thought to myself, is it possible that this is wax as well? So when the ringing lessened, I don't know, like I just thank God. I just praised God for the same. And so what I did was I took another piece of tissue. I actually cut it into half like this. I'm not a trained specialist. I'm not a trained person in any of this field. So I took a piece of tissue, half of it, and then I rolled it. I rolled it up, rolled it up. Oof, I hope it's going to roll perfectly. I rolled it up to when, okay, this is not perfect, but it was something similar to this. I rolled it up, and then I dipped it in vegetable oil, very clean vegetable oil for fact, and then I squeezed it out a little so it's soft enough, and then I put it back in the ear. I inserted it in my ear. I started rolling it up, like making rolls in my ear, like just making movements in my ear in one direction, the direction that I had noticed that it's working, and there's probably like something blocking in there. And then when I finally released it, what came out of my ear, you will not believe it. It was something solid and black. It looked like it had a body, but then maybe there could have been a decomposition while in my ear. But then I could not identify what it was, but it looked like it was an insect or a bug. And for fact, that is just how I got rid of my tinnitus. However, I've had tinnitus for so long, to an extent that when that, and another thing, like I regained my hearing. However, it's not fully back, but every day at a time, right? However, like with the ringing, let me tell you, I had been used to the ringing for so long, to an extent that I don't even know what silence feels like. And so I realized, like every day I'm learning something new. Every day it's reducing, like there's no longer ringing in my ear. There's no ringing at all in my ear, but the hearing is sort of back, and it's not as perfect as this ear. But the one thing I can tell you is I'm the happiest person in the world, and I know that I'm not bragging or anything, but I'm just happy about it. But from going to specialists to actually identifying what the main cause of my tinnitus was is a plus for me. and that's why it breaks my heart about the whole system of the doctors in Kenya. And I don't know, it could be, this is not, I could be wrong, I could be right, I don't know, but this is not to mean that they don't do their work, but at least just do it diligently, you know. And so, oh my God, the fact that I was so used to like the ringing in my ear, like has led me to be very assertive. Like anything, like any sound that's like maybe like miles away, I can hear it. And that's the problem, because the fact that like tinnitus was making me hear those sounds still has an effect on me. However, I've noticed that it's going away with time. And let me tell you, one of the things that have been very helpful to me, one of the things that has been very helpful to me rather, has been the white noises, the brown noises, and like the pink noises. Let me tell you for a fact, listening to like these noises in my ear is the best thing ever. Months ago, I could not even use earphones, but right now I can use earphones and I'm in a better situation. All I can say is just identify the cause of your tinnitus and probably look for a solution for it. I know that it sounds lame, but the exercise, that the one that you block like you breathe in and then you block your breath, like the air, you trap it in your mouth and then take it to sort of your throat and then to your ears, and then the pressure comes out through your nose after you hear the pop sound. That exercise really helped, because if it weren't for that, I would not have identified the problem in my ear. And so there's so many causes of tinnitus. For example, in my case, exposure like to loud noises was worsening it, besides like the whole bag thing. The loud noises was worsening it. The second bit was like a bug in your ear, which could cause like an infection. And tinnitus is, like, according to doctors, is a chronic infection. So this is something that, I mean, illness. This is something that you have to live with. And so if you could actually just go to motivational doc, that's his user on YouTube. If you go to motivational doc, he does so many videos about tinnitus, and I'm sure you could find, like, you will get some sort of relief, or maybe like me, you could get rid of your tinnitus forever. Yeah, I would say that I feel much better now that I have relief, and I wish you the same. I wish you relief, and if you do happen to heal completely, I wish you also all the best. Do let me know what you think about this video. Was it helpful to you? And maybe some of the questions that I was having while I had tinnitus was, is it possible for tinnitus to like cause other illnesses? Is it possible for tinnitus to cause stress? Yes, it's very possible, because especially when you're in a state of isolation, tinnitus can cause stress, depression, can as well cause ulcers and other complications that come with that. So make sure that when you have tinnitus, expose yourself to like the possibility of meeting people, interact with people, don't isolate yourself, listen to soft noises like the sound of rain. That can be very helpful. If you have high-pitched sounds in your house, probably try and turn it off, and let me know how that goes. I'm GLADYSNYAMBURA. You have a lovely time, morning, evening, afternoon, depending on when you'll be watching this video. I hope I've been of help to you, and yeah, that is it from me. Bye.